Hey, what's going on, y'all? How we doing? How we doing? It's Mystery Sunday. Bringing them horns. We got our hat. We solving shit tonight. That's how we doing it. Let's go ahead and get this game loaded. Hope y'all having a good weekend. Get this shit wrapped up. And we can get to the next one. Ooh, that's right. We entered a building. We got a point. Do we want to do a thought, though? I feel like we should do a thought. What up, Nibbler? Java's Vu. All the red checks automatically just fail. That sucks. God damn it, can it be a disgrace? Store on the coast. You know what? We're totally doing that one. Alright, it's going to take 45 minutes. Alright, it's kind of condensed all our jobs down, huh? Alright, let's look around. Oh, no, we were going to put on a different jacket because we're not out in the rain. Pinball maker's coat. Leather jacket. I forgot. Oh, we've already got a -2 authority. Nobody takes us seriously anyway.
You finally made it, haven't you? People point fingers at you and whisper to each other when you pass by, wondering to themselves, where did that man get such a cool jacket? Did he receive it upon graduating the École Normale Supérieure de Badasserie? Is he dangerous?
Yeah, what am I doing? This is insane. Damn right I'm dangerous.
You are very dangerous, my friend. Dangerous and cool.
And
In
cool.
fact,
You heard him.
No one dares to say a single thing about the jacket. But believe me, they are all very impressed.
Man from Himdall. What do these glasses give us? +1 visual calculus. Oh yeah, that's what we're gonna rock. A little extra logic. Okay, so that's broken there. What we got here?
An old cylindrical generator is nested above the ammo lift, with makeshift electrical wiring running out of its side and across the floor. The cables disappear into the wall to your right. The lieutenant puts his hand on the metal barrel, checking for warmth.
It's cold now, but someone has been maintaining it. The wiring has been repaired.
Where are these wires?
Downstairs,
Wires
somewhere.
lead. What kind of generator is
Liquid
this?
carbon. I would imagine it takes mazout.
Where's the open fuel cap on the side of the dynamo?
The kind that's favored by vagrants and fuel thieves. It's been a long winter, long and cold.
If anyone stayed here, they'd need a generator. A hollow ring, the canister is empty. Dust falls from the generator and down into the ammo lift.
What does this mean?
I
A
don't
generator here.
I'm not a philosopher.
I mean, why is it here?
Someone with basic electrical skills has restored it in order to keep the room warm. Maybe it's the fire guy.
The wind outside picks up suddenly, with a faint howl. Inside, it's warm. The lieutenant assists you, holding the canister up to the fuel tank as you tilt. Dark brown, viscous fluid pours out, and the room fills with a chemical smell. There's a red starter switch on the side of the cylinder and a start rope on the other side. The lieutenant flicks the switch.
Pull the
The
rope.
recoil start wakes the old generator up. The machine sputters like an old warhorse before settling down to a rattle.
That should do it.
Where'd we get that gas from? Looks like we gotta go up to go down. Books, mostly fantastique, historical fiction. Dishes stained with sauce and fire, a survivor's kitchen. You see candles planted on a broken rangefinder. A moth-bitten bedsheet keeps the wind out.
There's a greasy old spring mattress in the corner, resting on piles of soft cover books. White linen and a pillow are visible under a worn-out caracal blanket.
Someone has been squatting here. The linen is fresh, recently washed.
How recently?
You force the rest of the sentence out through pain, thick as molasses, no longer able to hear yourself speak.
You know, officer, you can rest here if you are feeling tired. I will keep watch. You could use some rest for what's ahead.
You face the concrete wall. There's less light there, in the dark corner. Like a dog, you lie there.
Curl your knees to your
The
chest.
blanket feels cold. The entire room does. Concrete and cold. Minutes pass. Half an hour, maybe. The sounds of the sea beyond grow distant. Your eyelids close. Until you feel yourself standing up in the darkness, right next to the mattress. Slowly, the world begins to hatch from the blackness. It's evening.
Oh, I would just sleep the day away.
Sleep.
Oh, did Kim get taken? Oh, now we can't do any of this stuff. I want to load it. I don't know if we fucked up. I mean, we didn't really fuck up. We just did something too early. We didn't do shit. We just got that generator going. No, we put the level in here. And which one were we doing? One more door. We put that jacket on.
An old cylindrical generator.
So we're not even gonna
is
look at that
nested
bed
above
yet.
the ammo. The lieutenant.
It's cold now, but someone...
The lieutenant. There's a red. The recoil start wakes the old generator up. The machine sputters like an old war.
That should do it. Downstairs, somewhere.
The tank is far from full.
Alright. Fantastique. Survivor's kitchen. Candles. Moths in the window.
Books and magazines lie scattered on the floor and on a makeshift cupboard. They are not particularly well organized.
Shift through
Most are soft covers, serialized fantastique and detective stories from the 20s and 30s.
Dick
This
Hammer? Was
disparate
that dude's name?
digest includes the classic Animal Adventures. Popular depictions of man versus nature by amateur naturalists T&T Harpin, husband and wife. Widely read by people from all walks of life. Who doesn't like nature? Who doesn't want to survive? Among what is mostly commercial fiction and serialized stories, you find a magazine cathodique for electrical engineering. Then it's back to pulp. Light erotica, an international thriller about circuit benders.
Someone's made themselves a home.
The lieutenant inspects the softcover. Does anything stand out? It's white.
Not that you can tell. This is a digest of someone who's dead bored. Most of it is for entertainment purposes. Fittingly right next to the radiola on the floor.
Nothing?
Maybe it's a little old-fashioned. There's a nude mag. More than that, you can't say. The print in some of these is pretty small, though. This person has good eyesight.
What does that give me? +1 hand-eye coordination. Got the +2 drama. I like that drama. What's our drama regularly? We got +2. We take one away. It would be +6. It's still pretty dope. It's one of my highest ones, right? No, I don't know if we need hand-eye coordination anymore. But I did see something we're going to need our crowbar for, so let's go ahead and pop that in our hand here. And a pair of pants. Army surplus winter scarf. The great blast door must weigh over 10 tons. Rust peels off of it. Some magnesium and some money. Alright, let's creep around in here. The hatch is jammed shut.
Green paint flicks off the monoblock aluminium cabinet. There are rows of switches on the front panel, a frequency band, and even a keyboard.
What is this?
The console of an anti-computation device. The generator upstairs, with wires coming out. They terminate here.
Lieutenant points to the wires running to the machine. Could this open the blast?
I think, yes. Let's see. That one.
He put...
The emergency open.
The dial slides under the glass, dark and silent. Restoring electric power has not breathed life into it. The lighting in the room turns on with a sizzle, a dim ambient orange. The blast door opens with a series of clicks. A shaft of light appears, then widens as the light shines in. A sudden wave of anxiety makes your skin crawl.
I bet.
After you.
I'm scared.
I don't know.
A thin wisp of smoke rises from a charred black fire pit. The wind picks up, then dies down again.
Don't be. I have a gun.
He takes out his sidearm, checks the barrel, and holsters it again.
I know. It was not easy to acquire.
I don't think we have any bullets, though. Water rushes below, far down below. I'm gonna save it. I don't know where any of these doors go. A firing slits. You can't see inside. It must have been a direct hit to take out such a huge chunk. The distant sound of cargo ships, signal horns echo on the water. The ice cracks under your feet. Be careful not to fall through. Yeah, let's just... go back. The pain in your pupils makes you wince. Then you continue. The inside of the fortress, you can make out the console and the blast door. Alright, so there's some stuff down there we need to look at. Lum fuel canister. A weathered artillery map showing coordinates in the Bay of Revachol. Oh, medicine cabinet newly stocked with jerupamine. I bet that does the same thing. It's another bed. We're loaded on meds and everything, so... as long as we don't run. We were warned against running already. The winch is broken. Russ has eaten what remains of the chain.
A strange feeling looking at the water. Maybe you should just wander off into the sea. Leave it all and walk in.
Why?
Perhaps there's someone there, under the water, waiting for you. Maybe you know it's going to hurt.
Baby, you know it's going to hurt, but it's cold.
Yes, cold and still. But love is warm, like the inside of her mouth.
No.
Yes, 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 yes. No. We're not starting with that. Not now. Not this time. This thought is over. In the still mirror of the bay, you see Martinez, reflected. Tall edifices of ruins reach into the water, like shimmering towers. And the shacks too. Pine trees and motor lorries, upside down. Islets and posts, like stepping stones, lead into the water in front of you. Go. Step in. It's been too long.
That's it? Alright. I don't think we missed anything, so let's just go on back inside. We may eventually have to go to sleep and lose Kim. I have no idea. I think it's 10 days is as long as it can go. So we're on day 8. No, that's the way out. Alright. We're scared. Low on health, put points into endurance. Let's go take a look at that. Small white flowers blossom all around you. A rubber dinghy is deflated, broken. Oh, there's the fire guy.
An old man wearing tracksuit trousers leans on the frame stock of his rifle. He gathers a big ball of spit in his mouth.
Is that the kind of gun that
Then
could do it?
spits it out into the extinguished fire before him. He raises his black eyes, hooded by creased eyelids, to meet yours. Unclouded by cataracts, his eyesight is sharp. He's practically tearing up from spite. Hatred got the best of him a long time ago. This man hates everything.
Are you the fire guy?
You what now? I can't hear you.
Did you recently tell 2 kids to put out their fire, 2 twins?
I may have. All sorts of little rats have come sniffing around, trying to give up the position.
The position sounds like a hiding place.
Fire guy. Regressive bourgeoisie henchman. Can't even talk like a grown-up.
You retained your
My
eyesight.
eyesight? Yes. Helps me see all the shit.
A shudder of disgust passes his right side. His left side remains motionless.
Did you close the blast door?
I did. And you opened it. How?
I feel the generator and use the
I should have
console.
burned that console down.
How did you know I was coming?
The boat engine. On the water.
Nice gun you got
It's
there.
not nice. It's a piece of shit. But it gets the job done.
And a Belmore Grade?
It's a 3-Angong 446.
Southeast Samaran made. Exotic. Must be defunct too. No modern rifle manufacturer of that name springs to mind.
A Samaran rifle. How did you get hold of one?
It was sent to us by our brothers in the Sinyao commune. Military aid.
He pats the rifle.
It has stayed true to him. He can still make it sing.
The Hinchu Yao?
You heard me. It's good now. Like chalk, white from the ball.
You better say cheer to you. Mine will say cheer to me too. Show him the gun in your hand. Sir, I need you to put down that gun so we can talk further. We're with the police. I'm with the police. You can keep your gun. But keep it down. Not one move.
Yes. I bet you've killed a lot of people with it. You fascist fuck. Have you come to make me one of them?
He grips on the rifle.
We have come to
tightens.
ask you questions. Nothing more.
Lieutenant puts his hand on his holster.
If you do not comply, we will take you in. Do you understand?
And that's the only answer he gives.
The danger levels here are hard to read. One moment he's a fire, the next, a fire gone out.
I need to put
The
that.
lieutenant pulls his pistol from the holster.
You are a glorified night watchman. This is a service rifle. I can only lay it down before an enemy commander of corresponding rank.
His elbows rest on the frame stock, calmly for now. But he may still get it in his hands. Looks like he knows the weapon. The lieutenant aims his pistol square at the man's forehead.
Put it down now, sir.
Or you're gonna blow my brains out before you question me. To hell with it. It's a walking stick anyway. It's out of bullets.
No, he lays the rifle down carelessly and looks at it
Like an amputated limb in the sand.
Pick up the gun lying in the sand.
His gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand. Frame stocked and patched in places with tape and wire. Still warm from his parched hands.
Nice.
Not the metal. The metal is ice cold. This weapon has been modified several times.
Get
The
in.
rifle's in a shabby state, like a crutch that's seen too much travel. Hieroglyphs are embossed into the forearm, made of walnut. On the butt, you see Vespertine writing, burned into the wood. Triangle, 4.46mm, made in Sinyao.
As he said, it's a Trayon.
No one said it has to be a Belma grave. We were just guessing.
From ballistics, it could easily have been a triangle, too.
It doesn't matter if it was made in Shanti Shanti. All it has to do is use jacketed ammunition. And it does.
Yeah, this uses
The
jacket.
right type and the right calibre.
Lieutenant nods, glancing at the gun.
He's liking this.
The rifle has been patched and modified several times.
I wonder how old it is.
The old man does not answer. He just stares in front of him.
Let's do it.
The old man keeps following your motion with his gaze. His right arm twitches suddenly. Some kind of involuntary response? Something is slightly off with his motorics. This looked very much like the murder weapon. It could be used against him to get a confession. In time.
Alright, so who are you?
My name is Josef Lilianovich Dross, Political Commissar of the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army of the Commune of Revachol. I am a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war. This is my termless surrender.
His eyes turn to the reeds again, dead and dull.
The commune of Revachol? Do you mean the ICM? You're a holdover from the...
From the Insulindian Citizens Militia, the army of the revolution. I was recruited in Jamrock in '07, trained in the École de Contrôle Orient, and consigned to emergency defense duties in '08. I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the commune had fallen. Still armed and ideologically trained, I wrote a criticism of myself and resumed partisan duties.
Okay.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
You've been on his island 43 years.
I've been on other islands, too. I was in Resurrection until they turned it into a spa in '18. Then I was on E48, a nameless sound, until the sea washed over it. Then I came back here. That was 22 years ago.
Again, you've been hiding for 43 years.
43 years and 10 months.
It's insane.
It's not how a human being should live. But I had to. I couldn't just forget. I couldn't just forget what I saw.
Oh, I wonder if that's game time. I thought it was like real time, not game time.
What have you been doing during all this time?
Hiding, fishing, waiting.
He looks across the water.
Where the afternoon grows late, on Rue de Saint-Ghislain, people walk home. Street lights will soon be lit. Further inland, the streets are alive with workers, men, women, children, street hawks and migrant laborers. The temperature is steady.
Oh, that was a good yawn.
Alto cumulus clouds form above Precinct 41. 2 police officers step out of the Whirling in Rags cafeteria. Satellite officer Jean-Vic Mayer inspects a series of burnt black letters splashed across the plaza mosaic. Patrol officer Judith Minot points west. The fishing village. She glances at her watch. We meet in 15 minutes. It's a 10-minute walk. The officers go, leaving behind the writing, still smoldering. One day, it says, I will return to your side.
Always waiting.
The old man turns his eyes from the shore and back to you.
For her to return.
Her who?
Girl, child, revolution.
Who's Girl Child Revolution? She better come too. I too have given my life to Amazonian socioeconomics.
A waste. The material
blinks.
base for an uprising has eroded. The working class has betrayed mankind and themselves. The historic opportunity for a revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore, however hard I try, whatever I do.
You said you deserted your unit.
I was just 16 years old, 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith.
He clears his throat.
And of courage, too. You could say I misunderstood the historic role of the proletariat and thought Mazovian socioeconomics were fallible. For a second, I doubted the irreducible laws of historic materialism. A second is all it took
For what?
for reaction to take hold.
What's your reaction?
Petty bourgeois terror. It's in all men.
It wasn't a reaction. You were just afraid.
It's the same thing. You haven't seen it. Not really. Not naked. It's impossible not to be afraid.
It remains unclear what it is. He makes leaps he doesn't expect you to follow.
And this was when?
The lieutenant instinctively looks to his notebook, but he does not take it out.
May the 13th, 08, 44 years ago. The horizon was black with coalition airships. Their petroleum rose to the sky, and it looked like it formed the clouds. Storm clouds. When they started shelling, it was dark magic.
Dark
The
magic.
combined might of international capital. All at once, all the greed and terror in the world tore into Revachol. It lifted streets from the ground and turned houses into ghosts. We were in the flak tower,
He gestures towards
huddled
us.
on the floor. The artillery was 80 kilometers away in Ozon, but I knew the commune would fall. We would all be turned into ash. So I said I was going to the map room.
He looks east. What
I
then?
ran. I climbed the chain link across the water and hid inland, in the bunkers underground, like the weakest of the weak. A mouse. Frightened of the ordnance all night, and the sound of the rotors in the morning, whirring.
What was that?
Airships. I climbed out into hell. The landing was complete. The chain was submerged. I had to swim back. The fortress was half submerged too, shattered. They'd all drowned in the lower levels, or got torn to shreds above. The anti-aircraft gun had malfunctioned. So had I. I left them without ideological direction. It was
He opens his
weird.
eyes. Oh,
I'd seen it. I'd seen it in reality.
you seen what?
The mask of humanity fall from capital. It has to take it off to kill everyone, everything you love. All the hope and tenderness in the world. It has to take it off just for 1 second to do the deed. And then you see it, as it strangles and beats your friends to death. The sweetest, most courageous people in the world. You see the fear and power in its eyes. Then you know that the bourgeois are not human.
You lost
Now
your
is
mind.
not the time, Lieutenant Yefreiter.
The lieutenant says gently.
I had to. I had to fight it. I could not stop anymore.
His black eyes keep piercing your skin as he looks to some great distance behind you, shaking his head slowly, retreating from it. What is this place, this island?
It's not an island. What? It's a defensive fortification of the commune of Revachol. And I am its last surviving defender. The
What's it used for?
congenitally deformed King Philip II built it to restrict access to the Bay of Revachol. We captured it in '02, retrofitted the fort with an AA gun to defend against an airborne landing. Against the whole world.
You mean the landing? The retaking of River Shore?
Coalition military called it Operation Deathblow. I later found out on the radio they called it Deathblow. You're one of them. Tell me, who speaks like that? We had 50 million people on Caillou alone.
First, I'm not one of them.
Sure you are. You're RCN. Answer me. Who calls an operation against 50 million people Deathblow?
Someone who's come to end this madness? Murderers. I know what you mean.
You don't know. You haven't seen it. Iblis,
Iblis.
the black-eyed angel.
How have you survived all
How
this?
does anyone survive? I steal.
Now hold on there.
There's a choice. You could have become a self-employed create the system.
Supplies, vegetables. I collect rainwater. It's the life of a dog, not a human being.
He coughs once, puts his hand on his belly.
How is your health, Mr. Dross?
I've been throwing up blood since winter. Red, like beetroot. Been passing it in stool, too.
Yeah.
He does seem frail. Gaunt for his age. More like 75 than 65. Trouble putting on weight could mean cancer.
The RCM can provide medical services. You need to be looked over.
I need to die. You don't have medical facilities. You have guns. That's all they give you. Toy guns.
Well, you have dopamine and other opiate-based painkillers. This is a serious situation. You must be looked at. How have you coped mentally?
I have been running out of that stuff.
A light goes out in his eyes. He smacks his dry lips. This area need to be looked at.
There's nothing to look over. The triage is in, and it's black. Administer morphine. Moribund. I haven't.
Yeah,
I have
he's pretty
holes
nuts,
in my
dude.
brain. Years missing. Others filled with pain only. A decade of...
His eyes roll back into his skull.
I don't even know what. Inferno?
Not appreciatively, I also live in hell.
At least you know it. The traders of this city turned the lights back on in the 30s, after the fighting stopped. Ruins, glittering in the dark like a fucking merry-go-round. It's disgusting.
He looks down at his shoes, his face patched from the sun and the wind, and there's a wince of pain in their side.
Are they not heartbroken? How could they have moved on?
How have you concealed yourself all these years?
It was hard in the tens. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers, those bloodhounds. Floodlights on the water at night.
There were posters, campaigns.
We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated. Martinez and Cold City were turned to dust. But Jamrock, Forburg, even Coron, and Boogie Street, of course. Those fucking kips had Marsov coursing through their veins. And others too. Some cordons of Revachol was still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them. Soon they all went silent. The frequencies dead. At night, I used a dinghy. I only went after dark then. When I got to the city, I stayed underground. Patrols, you lot, the commons too. They'd started snitching.
In the city, you move underground?
From bunker to bunker. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant.
Yeah.
I could walk straight into that town if I wanted. I just...
Why don't you? The weapons cache under 22B, have you been there?
So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there. Elmer Graves, right?
They were.
Useless now. Rusted away.
So you've been there?
Sleeping. Some nights. Ammo scrounging on others. Those McGraves were shit, even before they corroded. Some had bullets in the chamber, however.
You feel the dots connecting. Little dots on the map he's walked across.
So somebody found one of those guns?
I don't want to. They're all traitors. Pigs, rabbits, and dogs. Men without ideals are only animals.
He does not want to see life moving on. People forgetting, drinking, laughing.
The propaganda bunker. I used to, but not anymore.
Propaganda bunker?
They stored leaflets there. Broadcasting equipment, too. Made broadcasts, I think. Propaganda officers. I buried them with their leaflets. They killed themselves. 2 young boys.
Killed
A
themselves.
lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. No need to go underground anymore. It's better in the ruins, on the ground.
Tell me another
The
thing.
old man looks across the water, at the city, the ruins,
You said this is your
the
term,
motorways
sir?
rising above it.
You're with the RCM, the coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol.
We're not coalition appointed, and we're just trying to help people. That's right, we're with the good guys. We enforce law, we keep those animals from killing each other. I know what it looks like, but I have secret plans to turn the RCM in, the Marzino Revolutionary Unit.
You're the RCM. You represent the Moralist International, the enemies of humanity who took this city. I represent their adversary, le Parti Communiste dans le Monde. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldoze them all to a mass grave for trying to free humanity.
His hand shakes as he breaks into a coughing fit.
A spray of blood from his mouth on the black charcoal in the fire pit.
We might want to stay
Rene,
back.
the royalist on the coast, said,
You never signed the Revolutionary Instrument of Surrender.
Liberal reactionaries signed that instrument. Traitors who should have been burned alive. I answer to the Communist Party.
Is that part of why you've been here all this time? Because the party didn't surrender?
he just wipes the blood from his chin.
Honor is a feudal atavism. My motive is class.
So you're a communist soldier from the Communist Army.
No, I am not a soldier. I am an ideological officer. I belong to the party, not the army.
But you said you were trained.
Trained in historical materialism, then assigned as a political commissar by the party. These things used to mean something.
Wait, what does that do?
The old man does not answer. He tilts his silver head and looks at the reeds. You see a small tremor pass through his legs.
His job was to assure the army answers to civilian control and follows the ideology of the Commune.
Scientific communism. A commissaire politique is a night philosopher
Commissaire
of the revolution,
politique.
a future human.
Awakened from shutdown by the promise of ideology,
That means you're a trained
he
communist, right?
nods slowly. Then another tremor.
I'm also a
No,
communist.
you're not. You're a liberast.
I am. I have a communist stock
All
man.
the real communists are dead. They died fighting for communism. Are you dead? No. You're an inert lump with a gun.
Detective, we have not come here to discuss ideology.
He then turns to the old man.
We have come to ask questions regarding a murder investigation.
The old man spits into the fire pit. He does not say anything more. A jitter passes his lower body.
All right, I have another serious question.
There's nothing serious in this world. It's
What
a
have you been using this
farce.
gun for?
I've used it for killing people.
Here we go. A trail of blood. The lieutenant smells it too.
Killing people?
It's a gun. That's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property. I haven't done that. I've used it to kill people.
Interesting. During or after the war?
There is no after the war. Class war is never over.
Man's
So
got a
it's
point.
continued killing after hostilities ended. Okay. Okay. This is it. You can feel it, like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. Something you haven't felt in a while. But
But what?
this is what you live for. This is the shit.
This is the shit.
The great serotonin jackpot. The solution. Go in straight. No euphemisms. He doesn't like those. No. Be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Make him repeat it first. Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal.
So you're saying you've killed people after active fighting stopped? Did you use that gun to shoot people and shoot and kill of the Colonel security contractor Colonel? I know you want to tell me. Well, I know you want to tell me. Have you killed anyone with a gun within the last week or two? Wait, so which one do I say then? Ah.
I don't want to tell you anything, you grotesque murderer.
And why did you think that was a good idea? Don't listen to me. I'm wrong all the time.
Alright, we'll just get
The
in.
who now?
He leans in and cups his ear.
He heard you. He just wants to hear you say it again. This is dramatic flair on his part. Right choice. We're in. Do it, sire.
The corpse in the ceramic armor hanging behind the whirling in rags. Did you shoot him? The fascist death squad who took a bullet in the mouth on the night. It's the fascist death squad who took a bullet in the mouth on the night of March 4th. Beautiful strong man, sent here by honorable private military.
Oh, yes. That one. Ugly piece of work, that boy.
Did you kill him?
Lieutenant suddenly takes a step forward.
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the commune of Revachol. I do not collaborate with murderers and pederasts of the liberal regime.
Exhaust him with proof. Pile it all on him. Get a confession.
I hope it's not
The
him.
gun. The murder weapon is the perfect opener. The scent of blood in the air. But what else? There was something you can't remember. Something about the tracks. Suddenly, all those tracks are so confusing. Go with something else first.
I don't need your cooperation. I've got this. So I'm the gun. You're a communist. I talked to the dead man. He told me communism killed him. Come on, man. What am I forgetting? Hit yourself on the side of the head.
Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there?
It's a real gun. Not like your little musketeer pistol. I've seen you prance around with that. Jumping hoops for the liberals. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons? Going against automatic rifles with these toy guns. Of course you got those boys killed.
Yeah, well.
Damn, he saw you. He's watched it happen. He would have a good view of the tribunal from here. It's not just empty boasting. So he saw you. Okay. So what? Don't let it divert you.
We saved a lot of them. Their leader, Titus, we handled that situation. No, don't let it divert us, okay?
You know what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it?
Lieutenant looks at the weapon demonstratively. You think we have the murder weapon?
4.46 jacketed ammunition, modified for range. We have it. This is it.
I'm calling it. We have the murder weapon.
Good.
Physical instrument, god damn it. That's where I want to put it. What doesn't have any extra points in? That's pretty low. Endurance? I don't care about endurance. I don't care about using drugs.
This feels good, doesn't it? Tearing things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer.
Murder.
The old man does not say more. He just glances into the reeds and twitches once more.
This pushed him, but not enough. Just a little more.
Come on, you're a communist.
Stupid twat.
The lieutenant looks at you with worry in his eyes. Not this, he seems to say. Anything but this.
Yeah, I held a seance with his soul. It has shown me the way, and the weeds to you. You fuck with the wrong police officer. I have paranatural abilities. It was intuition. He had spoken.
officer does not behave in such a way. Those are aberrant bourgeois musings. Magic earl creatures. Esoteric theosophy. It's all crypto-fascism. Your brain is rotting from the radio waves.
He looks at the air, then he turns to the
He
lieutenant.
does not answer the provocation. It does not look like he thinks this approach worked. Yeah, this just did nothing. But still, somehow you knew it was a communist.
How?
Perhaps you suspected it before you took the case. The vision was you remembering that.
But this did nothing.
Was it supposed to?
We'll look deeper. Actually, I'm beginning to think he's right, and this is just crypto-fascism.
The inland sea is dark, vast, and on the surface, meaningless.
Standing there, slack-jawed, brain festering.
Wait, here it comes. The goddamn Maybells. The dried Maybells on Clausia's roof.
Oh, yes.
There were Maybells in the grass when you got here, and Maybells on Clausia's balcony. Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal prints in the dust in the secret space behind Clausia's bedroom. Now, they're gonna come up.
Oh, he likes to sneak around. Oh, of course. Thank you, Head. Thank you.
You got it. Remember? The boot prints were like no modern soul. Nothing else comes up. You see the lieutenant watch you try to stimulate thought processes by hitting yourself. I'm sorry, this didn't do anything. Usually hurting yourself does.
Officer, a word?
No, we must start. Just let me have a few more punches.
Why does art inspire you so much?
It does, yes, but what is art?
Excellent question. Art is a diverse range of
Hey,
visual,
Baxter.
literary, auditory,
Welcome, welcome,
and
welcome.
performative creativity. It's an expression of imagination and technical skill. Additionally, it's history, criticism, and pure enjoyment. In short, art is the highest form of human communication, representation, narrative, emotion, and agency intertwined.
Would I fit it? Would I fit into the art? Would I fit into the art world?
Have you looked in the mirror lately? To be honest, you have the exact features of the modern artist, with that wild hair and those clothes. Perhaps you should try to write poetry someday, and critique architecture.
Hold on, architecture is
Of
also
course
art?
not. It's autism, box drawing, masturbation with a ruler and a sextant or whatever they use. You should demean and criticize the genteel institution of architecture while extolling the virtues of the pure arts.
Wait, what about music?
Only
Is it
the
art?
most experimental kind.
I guess I have been feeling critical lately.
Yes, you seek substance. No vapid representations and reproductions of social mores as made manifest in stuffy biennials. We're talking real living art here. Become the art cop. Half art critic, half cop.
Okay, but if 50% art critic is what's needed for me to free up for rotation, so be it.
Exactly. It's not only your duty to only catch the criminals off the street. You must also apprehend criminals of the printing press and the gallery, the trite and derivative artists and writers of the world. Go ahead and provide savage criticisms, art cop. The world is yours to rip to pieces and reassemble.
I'm into the game, Baxter. I'm into the game. I didn't see it pop in. All right. 27 more minutes.
I think we may have this.
You think he did it?
From nothing to this in a day. This is good, Lieutenant Gefreiter. We just need a confession first, and then maybe a solid motive later.
Let's have myself to get ideas.
I can see that, yes. I'm not judging.
I'm trying to get him to
Yes,
confess.
good going. That should be our first priority.
How do you think I'm
Good.
doing?
We are doing very good. He wants to confess, I can see that. We just need to pile it on a little more. The more we have on him, the closer he is.
You hear that? He thinks you're this close.
What am I missing?
Ballistics. Let him cook here for a minute or two. We can have another look around the island for a sniper's nest. I think we should check out the post.
He doesn't have to hold in court. Just establish a line of sight and he'll do the rest himself.
Okay, let's do
Remember,
this.
he wants to tell us, but he doesn't want to help us. It needs to look like we already have everything.
There is palpable excitement in his tone. He likes him for this. A lot. But there's something more, too. He thinks the deserter has more than just this case in him. 44 years here.
Think he has more than this case?
Oh, yes. And he hasn't spoken to anybody in a long time. If we get him open, who knows what will pour out.
Alright, we gotta find the sniper's nest. I didn't mean to run. We can't go anywhere that way. I really hope this guy didn't do it. I really hope. It just kind of feels... Okay, we can't go anywhere over there. Do we need to go out on the ice? It's the only place where we haven't gone. We didn't look at the bed. The depot that supplied this chain is long gone from the coast.
There's a rain-soaked mattress on a concrete slab, only half covered by the crumbling roof. At the head of it, double embrasures, firing slits like two eyes in the wall.
B triple prime. This looks like a good place to shoot from.
Inspect the
A
mattress.
single-person mattress, modern, civilian use. Brand name, Marjorie. There's a fuel stain on the cover, along with cigarette burns. And an empty can of beans on the ground next to it, filled to the brim with cigarette butts.
Pick one out of
The
the can.
silhouette of a tobacco picker adorns the paper filter. The brand, Dio Mortieri. Contemporary Revacholians prefer Druan, a local blend from the southern islands, or Astra, the legendary cigarette from Grad. Dio Mortieri is favored by older men for its paper filter tips, sweet smell, and added tar.
Ah, like the ones we found at Land's End,
Yes,
remember?
this guy gets around.
Inspect the wall.
There's a firing slit in the wall in front of you, like a little window.
Touch the concrete
Quite
first.
old and grimy from years without cleaning by anything other than the rain.
Look through the hole.
The springs screech as you lean on the mattress and crane your neck to look out. Trepidation, a tingling feeling in your stomach. A small piece of Martinez coastline opens up in the square in front of you, like a tiny landscape painting. 1 kilometer across the water, the ruins look familiar.
On the left.
A towering skyscraper, its top floors shaved off by artillery fire. Capeside apartments. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A and 33B.
And on the right.
The red chimney and collapsed back of the 4-story tenement in front of the Whirling in Rags. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 10. The doomed commercial area.
In between the two.
The box-shaped silhouette of the Whirling in Rags. Its sloped roof, a tiny fleck of light catches your eye on the rooftop, sunlight reflecting off the upstairs window of Clausia's room.
Motherfucker.
What does that mean? Do you have line of sight to the window?
Yes, there's an opening between 33A and 10. I can see through the roof.
I can see it. Through the scope of a rifle. The shooter would be prone, lying on the mattress, barrel resting on the embrasure.
Cheek against the cheek rest, hand on the hair trigger, on a calm day like this.
Kim, I could make it. I could make this shot.
Good. I think we have it, Detective. The origin of the shot. This is the sniper's nest.
Affirmative.
Booyah! Master
Why
copy
not?
work.
We have the weapon and ballistics. As you say, it's pretty booyah.
Okay, we're running.
Yes?
Only banal things strike you. At the core, you're a very banal person with a very small soul. One you should be ashamed of. It's no wonder the soft one doesn't want it back. It was right to abandon.
Alright, let's go talk to the guy. See, it's if this is the guy, I don't know. We've done all this investigating, and it turns out to be just some crazy dude on an island. I don't know. I wanted it to be something bigger. I suppose it still could be.
Minions of capital. What do you want? I ain't going.
Damn right you ain't. We got anything that adds composure? -1 composure. Nothing. Do we already have some composure? We don't. We got all kinds of stuff. All right, well, we added one.
Minions of capital. What do you want?
What strikes me
Nice.
about this gaunt man is not the stomach pain, or the cough, or the malnutrition. For a man who spent 44 years hidden in the urban wild,
He's surprisingly okay.
indeed, he speaks fluidly. His movements are rapid, if erratic. His voice, despite the cough, is there. It is capable of expressing complicated ideas. Above all, he seems animated.
Animated by what?
It's a mystery. This animation comes at a cost too. Erratic hand gestures, thought processes cut off like threads, as he just stares at the logs or the reeds. He also suffers mood swings, bubbling to the surface, unconstrained by his nervous system.
Dementia?
You've seen demented people before. This feels similar, yet different. When his thoughts move, they are lucid, keen even. Not senile.
Mr. Dross, are you okay?
No, I'm not okay. I shit blood, and I'm surrounded by insane people.
There it is again. Erratic hand motions, bouts of rage, and the stomach thing too, of course.
One more time, Mr. Dross. We need to talk to you about killing him.
Petty bourgeois law. This is all you care about, right? The only thing in the world for you types.
A drop of blood in the saliva. Tear into him again. Pile it on him.
Maybell is behind the victim's window. I saw them growing here.
Damn Maybells. The whole island is turning white with them.
He seems tender suddenly. Nostalgic even. A strange mood swing.
So many this year, too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash the filth away.
I haven't seen these flowers anywhere else in Martinaise, only here.
Classier.
He knows her, but hadn't heard the name.
Yeah, you hadn't heard her name, had you?
My ears don't reach the city.
You know her, right? She had intimate relations with the victim.
With the victim.
He turns his sight from the withering field of white flowers, falls silent, and the muscles in his jaw switch a spasm.
There is a small tremble. Looks like a smile. A crooked smile. Yet isn't quite voluntary. He's about to burst.
And we need to
Almost.
finish.
But you need one more. Just one. Or maybe two.
I wonder what boots you're wearing.
Everything is brands with you individualists. Who cares what brand my shoes are? Sansa. Some shit.
Show me the soles, please, Mr. Dross.
Fucking imbecile.
The old man stretches out his leg. A black and white spiral pattern covers the sole of the worn-out running shoe on his feet.
The maker is called Sensory. You see their V-shaped logo, but can't make out the size. These are not the unusual horizontal patterned soles you saw in the dust on the floor of the hidden room. They do, however, seem to be about the same size.
The size fits, but not the sole.
The lieutenant comes to the same conclusion. Wait, maybe it's simpler than that.
Sire, he doesn't have to be wearing them right now.
Well, change shoes. It doesn't mean you weren't there, near the room where the victim died, and sneaking around.
Racking those brains, are you? Desperate to report something back to your masters? They must have really loved that dead fuck.
The lieutenant gives you a quick sideways glance and nods to acknowledge. The prints were his. You can see it in those eyes. He can't keep them from flickering, looking for something. The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silent suddenly, some strange process within him. A gush of wind. Seagulls in the distance.
You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer. Dripping with blood.
Yeah, I mean, he was a rapist. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it.
Beating us to the ground. Moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner.
There it
Got
is.
your attention. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. Not when they die by the hundreds.
He breathes through his third nostrils.
This is it. Shot him. Shot him. Say shot him, not killed him.
So you shot him?
Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in Revachol.
You know, see him squeeze a tear out of his eye. His fist begin to tremble
The
with the
lieutenant
anger.
raises his right arm to hush you. Hush. He does not need to be pushed anymore. The ball is rolling. While the lieutenant listens, holding his breath.
I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was breathing with them. In phase. And I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth. I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death, and that stupid look on his face. And his dick still in her.
Then what?
Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. My last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own. And so they did.
Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to murder?
The lieutenant answered for a second of silence.
Yes.
What's the bathroom mirror? Electrochemistry.
And you were looking at Dan, the victim and a young woman, having sex through the scope of your rifle that night, before you shot him?
He only takes out his notebook slowly, very
The
slowly.
old man nods.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
He shrugs and smacks his
The
lips.
motive. This is where the motive is going to come from. You can coax it out of him. The lieutenant's preparing the ground.
I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part.
Why were you looking at them that night?
I'm always looking.
Cocks his head to the side, then turns his eyes to the city. Another tremor passes his right side, lower in
Are
intensity.
you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I'm just trying to understand.
A rifle scope has the best magnification.
Helps him see all the shit.
And if you don't like it,
Click.
It's part of the shit you see. If it's part of the shit you see.
then you pull the trigger?
Yes. Think of it as a form of critique.
You've got him going. Connect every little piece now. Wrap this up like a gift. Start with when he first saw him. It will give him a chance to ramble.
When did you first see? When did you first see the deceased?
3 weeks ago, when the rich hag came in on her galley. Her honor guard came in tow.
Joyce. He means Joyce.
By you mean Joyce Mizier, the Wild Pines rep?
Wrinkled up whore.
Or, good strong word. I use it often myself. Moving on.
Yes, old-fashioned. They moved into a deserted apartment above the roundabout. Radio equipment out for all to see. Reactionary radio playing, sloppy, drunk. I've seen their kind during the landing. Those Occidental and masked phalanx weren't conscripts. Boys like us. They were whites. All they know is to destroy and hurt. Barely alive. They like to kill while they're on their drugs. After the landing, in the burning years, I would take shots at them. End them. The worst ones, if I had a bullet to spare. I could see they've returned now to show their real face. The face they don't dare show their bourgeois voters back on Mundi with their families and polyester clothes.
What specifically did you not like about what you saw the night of the murder? Been looking at anything else you haven't liked?
Them fucking. I didn't like that.
You were jealous?
Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself. Drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore. And I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second, writhing. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her. But you can't have everything.
He wants to see her covered in blood. To punish her.
How long have you been watching her?
Since she came to Martinez. I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Feld building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have her skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night, moving.
Past the Feld building on the coast? What was she doing there?
That's where she hid her stuff.
hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up
That's a
in the
cigarette.
ruins there. She couldn't see me, but I could see her smoking. She was nervous, but not scared.
And beautiful.
That, too.
How could you see what she looked like? You said it was dark.
The sun came up. Her hair was like cobwebs. She smoked more fags and snorted a line of whatever shit she was on right there. She needed it just to move.
What do you think she hid there?
Her passport and tickets to Villiers. And from there to Cachet Brut.
In the free state of Seminine, hidden away at the edge of the earth, near the Pale.
This is a hidden buoy.
After she was gone,
Did you keep what was in it? When we found the submersible, it was empty.
no. Why would I do that? I didn't need tickets to Villiers. I put them back. If I wanted to extort someone, I'd do better.
This implies that he's thought about extorting her. Also, a little inconsistency here. He was surprised to hear her name Clausia before. Would he not have seen it on the documents?
Let's do it.
You didn't say Clausia in there. Why would I need that trash? I'm not going to Villiers.
A strange confusion comes over him from time to time. Some kind of aberration of the nervous system.
What did you say her name was?
It was something. I don't remember. It was dark that morning. I only remember her face on the photo.
Anyway, did you
I
continue
did.
watching her?
She had a face like an archipelago, with those birthmarks. And a body hard and lean and bruised all over. Black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating. I could see who she was, too. A spook. On the run. Revachol's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
Sounds like
You
a
could
good
tell
time
she
to
was
be.
a spook? From the documents?
She had different color hair on the photo, and glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard about this kind of thing on the radio.
He's setting it up for you. The bruises, you can't make that out in a scope.
And you can see her bruises through the scope of a rifle.
You can't see bruises through a scope. It's just a blur.
Come on, we gotta get it. We got it.
It quickly
Yeah!
comes to you.
The bruises on her body. Any chance you've seen her through a hole in the wall?
Oh, yes. Cutting those drugs of hers into little lines with a knife. Masturbating.
Everything in him fills with impossible longing, all at once.
Did you make that hole?
With a clip point knife.
Ever see her through a window on a roof?
Like that, too. Yes. Bending like a bow against the glass.
You've been through the secret route behind the ruins and racks. Here's where your footprints there. You just changed your shoes.
I've been through all of Martinez. Every nook and cranny.
And that too.
Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room. What she'd do to feel good. Funny the way light works. You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but
He keeps shaking his head.
Those two took the cake. You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant's pen. A quick glance at you. One more loose end down. We're doing this, detective.
How did you get in there? The hidden pinball workshop.
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, They think I'm an antisocial. Closing hour is a good time. The kitchen's empty.
You had to open the steel door in the kitchen? How?
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over, and I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope.
He points to the rolling
Andy
threads.
found use for it. A spare key, like the one hanging behind the Union Box window.
You wanted to punish her, so you killed her?
She practically breastfed that man. You wouldn't believe the things she let him do to her.
Oh, I ate a bowl of cereal. All right.
Wiley stands here and rots.
It's not like that. I don't think like that. Men are insane.
The world is insane. There's nothing to hold on to. Only this. It's not enough.
The coals of his eyes glisten suddenly, like stones dripping with water. Is he crying?
Man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps if you have your eye on something there. It's weakness, I know.
There have been others?
Yes, over the years. It's not unproletarian to feel something.
Was that while he left the dried flowers?
No,
Why?
I don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying, like a child, in the corner of our room on the floor, like she does sometimes.
When was this?
The day after I killed him.
And he brought her Maybells.
Yes, I don't know why I do the things I do anymore.
You wanted to
Maybe.
console her.
I told you, I have holes in my brain now. I wouldn't just sit here waiting for you.
A sudden pang of rage.
If you came 10 years ago, I would have killed you.
He wipes his eyes.
The silence. The lieutenant draws a line in his notes, then nods at you once more. One more down.
So in conclusion, it wasn't about him, it was about her.
Her.
The lieutenant nods at you in acknowledgement. That's it. Motive. We have it.
Where is she, that Clasier? I haven't seen her there for days.
She got away. We don't know where she is. She got away, but she let us here first. She figured out someone was watching her from the seafort.
Gone. I knew it. She kept staring into the scope this last week at the island, like she knew. She'd look at night, crying or smoking on the roof, staring right into me. It doesn't matter.
Midtown, across the Bay of Rivershell, the oceanic wind washes 40-story towers. Above them, Lucerne Central Aerodrome, a cocoon suspended in the sky by a web of suspension wiring. encircled by hybrid aircraft.
Well, north,
On the
baby.
platform, a young woman is withdrawing from amphetamines, barbiturates, and alcohol. Yet still, she smiles among the crowd, among the great ghosts of the city she's leaving, for another, far south. Smaller, distant, hidden, not like the great chandelier she sees sparkle in the night below her. Streetlights, towers, tenements, and water, and across it, a dark strip of ruins, barely visible, if she didn't squint her eyes. There, on a dilapidated jetty, in a nameless village, 2 police officers and 1 special consultant look across a narrow strip of sea. The ruins of a seafort stick out of the water, built by Philippe II, reappropriated by the Commune, then lost in the landing. He's there, doing what exactly, I don't know. Satellite Officer Vic Mayer points at the ruins. Behind that anti-aircraft something. That's why we can't see him. Special Consultant Heidelstein is optimistic. We'll see the boat when he comes. Let's go get a coffee until then. I know this interesting little place. Where? His voice trails off as the 3 walk down the jetty. As the men go, Patrol Officer Minnow looks back over her shoulder at the crumbling fortification like a rotten tooth rising out of the water. Good luck, Harry, she thinks. You need something good for this.
We could get more. We've got him talking.
What else we got?
Who knows what he's seen and done over the years? You could get more out of him. He likes talking. Enough. Take him in. Bend his arms behind his back and end this.
Anything, look at anything else you haven't liked?
Tragic comedy. Druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers.
A strange little engine seems to fire up in him again. It straightens his back. The familiar put, put, put of hatred.
More specifically?
Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house. Stripped clean and draped in neon. But Martinez is the worst. Because of the racists. Everyone's
Yeah.
a racist in Martinez.
Basically.
It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world. Listening to race-themed radio shows. In the ruins, in their lorries. Pumped full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by that Social Democratic Union and the farce of a Social Democrat who runs it.
Mr. Clare?
Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III, a syphilitic murderer, on the town square, to spit on the working class. Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest of Revachol at least pretends to rebuild. These people still live in ruins. Intense, like animals, like those boom-boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs.
Not all?
The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now. Her gun-toting porcelain men are dead. So, actually, no. The worst is that old cop parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our graves. The old loyalist ghouls still parade the ruins too. Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon, or Coyamorant, or some other island they built their palaces on, feeding on drugs and having sex, with their own children.
Whoa.
That's all the rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for them to have sordid sex. At least that old cunt Frisell is now dead.
I have some questions about this.
We did good when we pushed him under the horse car. Until, in the 30s, those disco whores.
He breathes in a heavy breath with hatred. You cannot make out a single word.
Disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain's language center, leaving only a nonsensical sputter. There was something about a statue and nihilistic advertising agency people. Might be worth investigating.
Whores.
This just keeps going.
Syphilis is a disease Philip III contracted in a whorehouse. The statue is an abomination.
Abomination.
The bacteria entered his brain and made him squander trillions on sparkling wine, cocainum, and monuments of himself. His son, Philip IV, the insane, contracted syphilis in the womb.
That is technically possible, although Philippe III was not actually syphilitic. He was just mad.
And he still went on to govern Revachol for 25 years. We lost 2 million lives toppling that mode of government. And those grotesque statues, too. Hundreds of them.
But it's still there.
What a keen remark. Yes, it is, isn't it? It's still there. Do you know why?
Because the king is holy and the statues are indestructible? Because the king is holy and the statues are indestructible? I mean it ironically. Because the cynical advertising yuppies erected a deconstructed version of it?
That's right. Some advertising cockroaches erected a cynical deconstruction of it. We tore it down with honest working-class plastic explosives. And there it is again. Art is a bourgeois establishment. It's an affront to humanity. Every gallery should be bulldozed, and the artists should all be given 30 years of hard labor in Yekokata.
You mentioned the Union, Social Democratic, and was declared as a fascist Democrat.
Another hideous disappointment. Unions are the real enemy. The true enemy of the proletariat. Placating the masses.
Disappointment. So personal. He displays a familiarity with the union's top brass.
It was a disappointment.
That
Ever?
deformed toad? I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass. I mean, the brains of the operation. The smart one.
Edgar.
I mean, Everett's brother?
He talks a big game about uprising and social base. They must have sent the smart one to some university in Le Jardin, where it's alienation this and hegemony that.
He's been sweet-talked by this Edgar. They must have met in person for such animosity to have developed.
You're not the first people you met from this city, are you?
You can't live alone.
He stopped poking at the ash now and just shakes his
The
head.
Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing happens in Martinez without them knowing.
Of course. Maybe the Clears asked him to. Don't go straight for the kill. Exhaust everything else first. Soften him.
Ooh. And Mr. Jost?
I haven't approached anyone. I've hid. It was Edgar who came to me.
How did he know you were here?
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out.
Okay.
Some kids told him about a monster on the island. I told you, he has brains. Stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I even kept the door open for him. thought he was a man of the left, wouldn't rat me out. I was right about one of those things.
When was this?
20 years ago. Neither of them could walk now, could they? They were less fat then.
That's around the time the Clares came to power.
What did you talk about?
Edgar did the talking. Paid his respects like I were a fossil in a uniform. Offered platitudes about the struggle. Flaunted his pink degree. Even quoted Marzov. Never trust a social democrat who quotes Marzov. Oh, and charity too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. I still have the gas cooker he brought.
And he let you be here?
Let me be here? The ZOC is an unlawful successor of the Commune of Revachol. We took this fortification from the Loyalists. Even the Clares understand this.
They let him be here. Understanding was a courtesy. But why such a courtesy?
Did you kill the Colonel Mercenary for the Clares inside a riot?
You know why I killed that fucker, Dwat. As to Edgar, I'm not doing anything for that swine again.
Again? What have you done for Edgar before?
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics. They didn't stick. We parted ways.
Anything low authority?
Okay,
High drama.
He didn't do the hanged man for them, but he's insinuating something. There is more here. You can feel it. He was not outright lying, but almost. Oh no, the connection doesn't come to you on such a pivotal moment. Slap yourself in the head again. Jumpstart it.
Wait, it was something about him meeting Edgar in a deal.
Officer,
He quickly realizes what is happening.
Mr. Dross, about this deal you made with Edgar. The death of the Colonel Mercenary was only coincidentally beneficial to the Clares. But what about the other people you've killed for them?
Other people?
Like the previous 4 women of the Union.
That's it. That's what you weren't connecting yourself.
I didn't fight 40 years to end up an informant for the international regime. What happened, happened.
Still dumb. Your eyes are transfixed on his digit. It's yellow with nicotine. Before, when you asked him about the Union, he said it was a disappointment. They promised him something political.
They promised political change and they didn't deliver.
Look who's up. You're worse off than me.
We will have plenty of time to talk about this, Mr. Dross, when you're in pre-detention. It takes years in pre-detention.
Go ahead. I've been in solitary confinement my whole life.
Yeah.
He's off it. This was not an unmitigated disaster. The lieutenant mitigated it. Just proceed, calmly.
By the cock parading in his colorful uniform, you mean Renee?
Every fucking morning for 34 years. Throwing that ball. One ball against the other. I've always loathed that game. That is not a working class game. I don't care what they say on Radio June.
We threw it in the
Royalist
water.
ghouls played like it was life itself. Click, clack across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot's plumage. I won't even mention that he's a traitor to his race. A Patank maniac race traitor. I remember him. I remember him from La Noce. Not him personally, his make and model. There were tens of thousands of them. I thought we took them all out before the liberals came to their rescue. We missed one. That one.
With his shaky finger, he points to the city.
Fat and plump, like a pheasant, just begging to be popped off. Please, Mr. Dross, shoot me.
He whispers with such predatory hunger. It borders on longing.
You'd like to kill him?
Not yet. I like to look at him strut around, place the crosshair on his medals, right on his face, and just fiddle the trigger. Think about it. Let the bomb melt in my mouth.
Save the treat for later.
Lieutenant adds cheerfully.
He is a juicy bonbon, that one. A real treat for the black day. The blackest. When I put that gun in my own mouth, I think, no, don't waste it. Put this lead in that cock, Rene. For the boys he killed. And then I look at him throw those balls, and I suddenly feel better. I even hid one bullet, so I'd always have one for him. Haven't seen him around lately, strutting around. Must be down with arthritis. I hope it hurts like hell. I hope he sweats blood.
Hearing it may destabilize him. You sure you've gotten everything from him?
No. I
Yes.
waited too long. I waited too long, and now he's dead?
I'm sorry, Mr. Dross. I understand you knew him for a long time.
They're all dead now. Fuck it.
If he really wanted to kill him so bad, he would have done. There must have been 1,000 black days on these islands. His health.
And I blew them all. What does it matter now? He's gone. Ancient. All human beings care about each other. I
he's right.
cared for seeing his head explode. Now, God damn this world. Fuck you. You think I haven't seen people die? It's all I've seen them do. Fuck and die. All the other plans we had. To love. To colonize the Pale. It's all fucked.
He's not okay. This is just another black day in a row of black days. Something strange is keeping him together, making him endure.
Glad we talked about what?
His lip curls into a...
Glad we talked about
All
what?
right. You're under arrest. Or we come back. I say we save it and we come back.
It's clear you like the hard stuff, Brota.
What is my lower intestine? What is my lower intestine going on about?
Evening falls. The time has come to take the vow.
The vows.
Vows are blood and flesh. Lower intestine. The term is metabolic and circulatory system.
Okay, but what about this heart stuff?
Fascism, Brota.
All right, I made my mind up about
You're
fascism.
going to keep your vooz, right? Keep your vooz, Brota. There's a slow, painful growl somewhere in your intestine. It is one of betrayal.
All right, we're going to save it right there, guys. Ran along tonight. Drop a like if you haven't already. Drop a sub if you're new. I'm out.